Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how my friends found out that I was pregnant. So let's just get right into it because this should be interesting. So the very first person that found out was one of my best friends, Topanga. I wasn't necessarily scared to tell her just because I would describe her much like myself. We're both very outgoing and loud, like easygoing type people. So I didn't really think that she was going to necessarily be super upset with me or anything like that. We did happen to already be texting, so I just kind of slipped it in there. She did move from where I live all the way into like another state, so I couldn't tell her in person or anything, and it was just kind of so urgent. I didn't want to wait for a FaceTime call. I didn't have any Wi-Fi. If you guys know the story, I went to Albertsons and then we were walking like outside and just kind of like hanging out. So there really was like no Wi-Fi to FaceTime her or anything like that. So I did text her, and I just told her, and she was flipping shit. So basically her mom kind of went through the same situation. So her whole life have kind of, been told not to do this. She's been lectured her entire life, not to do what I did. So she was really scared for me because she knows all the consequences. You know, her mom has explained to her how hard it is and all of that. So she was really scared for me. And she just was like freaking out. On the other hand though, she was very supportive, and she was very much telling me like, you can do this, like, don't worry. But, of course with it, she was like, what the hell are you gonna do? Like, you're screwed, bitch. So the next person that we told, me and Patrick, was our friend Momo. It is Patrick's like very best friend and just a mutual friend of mine. We were actually in Walgreens whenever we did tell him. He was on speakerphone. He is a very responsible, intelligent, he has his shit together type person. And so when he found out, he didn't really believe it because we do joke around a lot. But he was also, when it did finally settle in, like, oh shit, they're not kidding. His first reaction was for us to take another pregnancy test before we freaked out. But if if you've done research, it is very rare to get a false positive pregnancy test. So I was pretty certain. I didn't have a period in 5 days. I had a couple symptoms and I had the positive pregnancy test. I was almost certain that I was pregnant. So I didn't really want to, dance around the truth. So it did finally settle in him, and when it did, he was very disappointed in Patrick just because, that's his best friend. Of course, he expected a lot more. He thought he'd go down a different path in life, which is perfectly fine. I think we all did. So yeah, he was really disappointed, but of course he was always supportive. He said, if you ever need anything, he's there for us, and, all that jazz that goes along with that. So the next person that found out, I want to say I did not necessarily tell, was one of my best friends, Gabby. She is very much like Momo. She has always been my mother role and kind of grounded me. She's just very responsible. She also has her shit together. So I was honestly scared shitless to even tell Gabby, just because she has given me the silent treatment in the past, just for, things that have happened. So I was honestly really scared to tell her. I didn't know how she would react. I knew she'd be supportive in the end. I knew this wasn't like the end of our friendship or anything, because, we've been friends for probably about like 10, 11 years. But I was just really scared on how she was going to react, because like it was almost as bad as like telling my mom, like, because she's basically like my mom. So I texted her and I told her that we needed to meet up as soon as possible, and she actually happened to be out of town with her family. So she couldn't even really talk about the subject like over the phone because, I didn't really necessarily want her family to find out just yet either. So it was just, yeah, I told her I have something really big to tell you, and she literally texted back the words, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, what? I just need to talk to you in person, bitch. Chill. and she was like, you're pregnant. Like, she already knew. I didn't really get to tell her. And then, of course, I'm not going to just, you know, act like I'm not. So I was like, yeah, kinda. So we then started, you know, texting about that. She was freaking out. And then we ended up calling, like, later that night. She couldn't, like I said, she couldn't really talk about it. So it was more so me, you know, freaking out to her over the phone, and her just kind of giving back yes, no answers. So that way nobody knew what we were talking about, because she was literally in the same room as her family. So the next people, I guess, that found out was me and Patrick's mutual friend group, which consists probably about of like 10 or 11 people. So we wanted to get them all together. We didn't want to tell them individually because we didn't necessarily want it spreading without like us. We wanted to be like, you know, the messengers. So we got them all together, had like a little group meeting. We waited for the right time to tell them, and then we just spilled the beans. Was like, hey, I'm pregnant. And so, yeah, they were actually really excited at first. I don't think it really processed with them much. I think they were just thinking like, hey, babies are cute, and we're gonna have a baby. And so that's kind of like where their mindset was at. But of course it did end up processing later in the night, and they were like, oh shit, what are you guys gonna do? And we were like, nah, good question. And last but certainly not least to find out was my best friend Ian. He has always been a brother to me, so let me tell you guys, I was scared shitless to tell him, and that is why that motherfucker was last, because I knew I was gonna get a lecture from him. I wasn't ready for the lecture, and I knew, of course, like, he would end up supporting me and all that, blah, 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 but I knew I was gonna get a lecture from him. So I was really scared. I avoided that shit completely, and I grew enough balls finally, and probably after like a day or so, because I didn't want to wait that long, I did end up telling him, and yep, I got that lecture, guys, and on top of which, he was pissed that he was last to find out. So I got like 2 times the lecture. But of course, he was supportive and all that. He is excited that he's going to be an uncle to my little baby. So he is really into the pregnancy and everything. And I apologize profusely, but he just needs to understand that he's a scary person. Like, he is like, I don't know, he's just always been like the brother to me. So it was almost like telling my mom, just like how it was with Gabby. So yeah, that is how my friends reacted. I did want to put a little side note that yes, I have lost some friends during this pregnancy, and it never was like, ew, you're pregnant, I'll be your friend anymore. It was nothing like that. But you just kind of need to accept the fact, or I mean, I need to accept the fact that we just live 2 different lives now, you know? Kids my age, most at least, are worried about partying and school drama and all of that, where I'm worried about bills and work and, you know, getting diapers together and, you know, my pregnancy symptoms and all of this. So it just goes down to the fact that we just live 2 separate lives, and there's not too much to relate on anymore. So it's perfectly fine with me. I'm not upset about losing anybody. I'm not going to say like, oh, it's their loss, because I just think people naturally separate in their lives, and that's perfectly fine. I think people that are in my lives right now are supposed to be in my lives, and the people that have left are supposed to leave. So I'm perfectly fine with it. There are no hard feelings or anything like that. But yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know that as well. If you are expecting, do not be too shocked if you do lose a few friends, and just know it is for the better, and you could still do this. You still got this, girl. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you liked it, you know, all that jazz that I don't really like saying. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Bye.